The phone books are here. The phone books are here.
Love to see it. Love to see it. See it.
And by phone books, I really do mean the past performances for the Tampa Bay Downs Saturday card, which includes the Tampa Bay Derby. It's just me today. I'm going to do a solo cap in the card. I ran this thing through my data model. Usually I do this with Riders Up Tim at the pub on a Wednesday, but instead it's me after work on a Thursday. After I ran through my data model, checked it out, made a few slides, feels like I'm still working. Yeah, but here's what it is. Here's what I'm going to give you. So let's start with the first race. An 18K claimer going 7 furlongs. Who do I like here? Just sort of scrolling through on the side here. I do like King Miano, the 9 horse at 2-1 as the pace setter. And I like him as the win here. If you look at the pace projections on the right here, and yes, this is our card. This is the type of thing that we send out here. If you're interested, we do have a PayHip link. It is in the description of this video. So go ahead and hit that up if you're interested in purchasing our cards on a monthly basis. We put out like 5 to 7 a week. We hit the big races on Saturday. So it's a lot of fun, good information. Even if you don't go in order, there's information to be gleaned from this card, including the pace projections, which if you look on the right there, that third column from the right, you see a lot of blue and purple there. If you see a lot of green, that means pace. If there's one green in there, that's usually your pace setter. It's pretty good at determining that. We've got a couple blues in here. Those are horses that on average sit 1 to 2 lengths off the pace, but one did stick out to me a little bit further than the others, and that's King Miano at 2-1. Not a lot of great value there, but if he wins, it's a win, right? Not a lot of speed in this race. He's gone gate to wire twice and won at a slightly higher class than what we're seeing here at 18K. Last race out was one of the best of the group. I had it rated as the top last race of the group. So if he's on a trend here, Case Miano at 2-1, that is our safe play here. Value play. My second ranked horse here is the number 12. Struggling with how to pronounce this. Mintanon at 8-1. Should hold close to that pace. It's going to be maybe a few lengths off, not super far back. And at 7 furlongs, you don't want him to be too far back. But he's got a little bit of a close. He's got solid race times as well. So I feel like he's going to be able to hold on to, even if it's not a strong pace, he's going to be able to hold on and push a little bit further for that close. So at 8-1, Mintanon. We got through it, guys. We got through the first race. Now we're moving on to race 2. I'm going to flip over here as well. The pace setter here for me is the 1 horse. Got her in the middle there, Star of Sarah. This is another 7 furlong on dirt race. But my safe play here is the 6 horse. So I got at the very top there, Scored at 9-2. Best class win to date of the horses here. Best race times, 6 times in the money for Scored. So at 9-2, not only is that a safe play, I feel like you get great value there. My value play, I'm going down a few more spots here. Number 7, American Princess. I think that the top 2 horses in terms of being safe plays, the 6 and the 8, are pretty close. And in my numbers, I got them very close here. Depending on what formula I look at, I think they're both about 1 and 2. But then the 7 horse sort of squeaks in, giving you some value there at 12-1. Not far off the 6 in terms of power figures, race times, or in the money finishes. So I feel like at 12-1, you're getting great value from American Princess. As we move on, let me see if I can expand this out a little bit here. Oh, yeah, certainly. That feels better. Pace setter here for me on this one, or a firster, because we're talking maiden special in race 3 here. We do have a number of firsters setting up in this one, but I think it's probably going to be Chris's Kitty, the 2. I don't have ranked very high, but this was definitely a pace setter in previous races. My safe play here, I'm going to go with the 3. I'm going with the firster. A lot of this is based on, Chad Brown plus Flavian Pratt. 2 firsters coming in hot in this race between the 3 and the 8, as you can see in my rankings here. Giving a slight nod to the 3 just because I have a preference for the jockey here. I think Flavian Pratt, he gets better score for me than Florent Geroux, who is riding for Brad Cox on a horse that is 9-5. I'm also going to take a little bit more value there in 5-2 on Subtle Humor, the 3 horse. My value play here, though, I am going to go with Chris's Kitty. Yeah, just ragging on Chris's Kitty for setting the pace there. Early speed is 6 furlong race, though, at 30-1. Could possibly hold up. Could hold up as a 2nd or 3rd place. We'll see at 30-1. It's worth it. Plus, you're getting a jockey upgrade here, dropping in class from the last race. So if we're looking at the jockey here on Chris's Kitty, you're getting Dylan Davis, which is higher than what Chris's Kitty got before in terms of jockey scores here. Because I have Dylan Davis at close to a 15, 14.7. Let's move along. Now we're on race 4. Yeah, pace setter here for me is you look on the early pace tendency here. I got one sticking out in green. It's not my heaviest green, but it's heaviest in this race. So I'm putting Pride's Crossing, the 4 horse, as my pace setter here. Take a look at the race, make sure I'm correct in that. My safe play here is the Chad Brown horse, the number 3, Alamara at 7-2. Chad Brown is dropping 2 horses into this race. I like Alamara's ability to close. Has raced the course before, so I'm giving Alamara a slight edge there. As you can see, the other horse here, Pride's Crossing, is the one that I had setting the pace. So let's see, where are we going here in terms of distance? So I get a zoom in look here. Yeah, we're going 9 furlongs. So if you're setting the pace at 9 furlongs on turf, you're asking a lot of Pride's Crossing here. Tremendous horse. If that's a horse if there's a horse that's going to do it, could be Pride's Crossing. But I'm going to give the edge to the deep closer here at 9 furlongs on turf and Alamara. My value play. I'm going to go all the way down to the 2 horse. This is my 4th ranked horse in the race, but I'm saying Dreaming of Abba at 6-1 is going to be my value here. I like the horse at the distance. Finished 1 length off in Tampa Bay Downs at this distance 2 races ago in a similar race and purse. There's a number of these horses in here that have not raced at 9 furlongs yet, and some of them haven't even raced at 8.5 furlongs yet. There are a few that I was looking deep at, and yeah, you see a lot of 7 and 6 furlongs with a few of these. It's one thing I like about Dreaming of Abba. Not only has she run at the distance before, but finished 3rd and 1 length off on the track at 6-1. I think I like the chance I'm taking there at Dreaming of Abba. Dancing Queen. Challenger, the G3. So yeah, what's the one thing you say about Skippy Longstocking? Well, let's do pace setters first. Patriot Spirit and Ben Doog. I've got them as my pace setters. You can see that Patriot Spirit, the likely pace setter. That's why I put Patriot Spirit first. And then Ben Doog. Both of them show a lot of early speed. So this could be an interesting one. Could be a burner of a race. I do have my safe place being Skippy Longstocking simply because what do we say about Skippy Longstocking? This is the horse that gets up for G2s and G3s, usually fades back in G1s. The Challenger, it's a G3. Going to have a lot of speed up front. Skippy Longstocking, often sitting a bit off the pace, has run in much bigger classes before, as you can see from my class drop value. It's right next to the early pace tendency there. Again, if you buy the PPs, you're going to see that in much clearer. Sorry, we don't have 4K recordings here. My apologies. But yeah, you can see that dark green, that dark blue number there shows significant class drop. Horses run in some pretty heavy races in the past. So Skippy Longstocking running here in Florida, I feel like that's a pretty good bet. If I'm going to go with a value play here, I know I said there's going to be some pace here, but Ben Doog, going to try to go gate to wire here, I feel. Might hang on for a piece at 5-1. Win play show numbers are pretty good for a horse that does like to streak out to the front. So this is a horse that could be sitting out there, coming from Candy Ride, could be sitting out there, maybe grabbing on for a piece for 2nd or 3rd, assuming Skippy Longstocking, as I'm predicting, is going to be your winner. Moving along to race 6. What we got for race 6 here? Yeah, maiden special weight, 53K, going 7 furlongs. Pace setter here. And granted, we've got almost half a field of firsters here, so it could be one of them as well, depending on tendencies. But El Rabano has showed the most early speed of the horses that have run at least 1 or more races. My safe play here, going to the very top here, Moment's Notice at 7-2, 3 times in the money in 4 attempts, dropping in class big time too, and getting an upgraded jockey. And so that should do the trick for this horse here. Joel Rosario on the mount, Christophe Clement at 7-2. I feel like that's a pretty strong combo. Obviously, Wise Up, the 3 horse here, as you can see, Chad Brown, Flavian Pratt, a firster dropping in at 5-2 is going to draw some money. Looked long and hard at that horse, but I do like taking a horse that's had some experience that looks really strong, that looks like it's ready to break its maiden over a firster, unless you got something real special. Maybe Wise Up is that special horse, but I'm going to hold on to Moment's Notice here. So for my value play, I'm sticking in that 2, 3, 4 range here, the early slots. Bredoza at 20-1 ran a similar race last time, started off slow, took wide angles in that race, and still went from 11th to 3rd in one race, right? Um, so here's what you got to think to yourself. Okay, is this horse going to correct things the second time out? Um, you hope that the trainer's on top of it. You hope that they are going to correct a few things. The horse is familiar with the course. A lot of times you see that in the first one or two races from a horse. They do some wild things, take a turn real wide, and this horse seemed to do a lot of it and still was able to bridge the gap at 20 to 1. This is a horse that could get overlooked and could provide some serious value. Race 7, we're at the Columbia Stakes. We're going 8 furlongs on turf. When I look at the pace here, I'm looking at the 5 and the 9, Peace, Cloud, and Dream On. If I look at my safe play, I'm going with Regan's Wit at 3 to 1, 8 furlongs on turf. This will be a closer with challengers to the speed. A closer should set up nicely here. Yeah, so I'm looking at the two green horses. I mentioned those before. You got a few that are sitting just off the pace. 8 furlongs is about the time that you start to really seriously look at closers. Could set up nicely for Regan's Wit. This is a horse that has been, well, 100% in the money. I also like, so the three things together here: Cherie DeVoe, Jose Ortiz, Turf. I mean, that's Regan's Wit right there. That sets up really well for the horse. My value play here, I'm going down 2 slots here. You see it 12 to 1 versus similar reasons as above. I'm looking for a horse that has shown some closing power. Plus, you're getting a Lanfranco Dettori on the horse here, coming from Tis the Law. Yeah, I think there's a train by Kelly Breen. There's some solid things here. I think at 12 to 1, you're getting some super value. Race 8. So again, let's look at the pace here. Green, 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 green. There's 5 horses sitting in the green. So I put several. I put several as the pace setter. One did stick out to me a little bit, but still, with all these challengers and with a pretty wide field, 12 horses entered in, a lot can happen here. 13, one is also entered, obviously, but 5 Iya looks to be the horse that has gone to the pace, gone to the front the most of all the horses in this race. So I'm giving him the slight edge here. My safe play here, I'm at the 11 horse here at 7 to 2, Silver Slugger. Yeah, I like this horse. 3 wins in 5 races, great final times. This horse should be there with all the speed. He should be able to close and stretch it out down the and push it down the stretch. I can say that properly. For my value play, I'm going a couple down here for Osprey at 10 to 1. Closing power, this horse has it. 7 times in the money out of 10. Definitely like to see that for a 10 to 1. Ran this class last 4 times and got second twice. So those are pretty good odds there. 50% of the time finishing second in similar races. So I like what we're seeing from Osprey here. Race 9, Hillsborough. So my pace setter here, Damaso. You see there's only a few horses. This is interesting. There's only a few horses here that are saying just off the pace. We are talking about, let's see here, the race 9, Hillsborough. I'm guessing this is a pretty long one. Yeah, 9 furlongs. So you don't expect there to be a lot of horses that are consistently setting the pace, but I did have the 10 Damaso as being the one that looked like he was probably going to get out in front. Um, my safe play here being Saffron Moon at 9 to 5, the 8 horse, best race value last time out, good closing ability at 9 furlongs, 4 wins in 7 races. That sets up nicely for Saffron Moon. And then my value play at the very top. So my top rated horse here, Venencia at 6 to 1. Again, strong closing ability is going to be further back off the pace, but at 9 furlongs, you're not as concerned about that. And this is on turf. So whoever does set that pace is going to have to really hold off the wave. Also, this horse has had the best racing times, the best speed figures for the course, and in particular for the distance. I'm looking at 9 furlongs. I really do focus in on how a horse is done at the distance oftentimes. One thing I do want to note here, though, there's a horse in here. Give me another that is shipping over. As you can see there, I don't have a pace projection on it. So this horse doesn't show up in my numbers because I don't have any US numbers for this horse, but has said 7 wins in 7 races. Graham Notion is shipping them over, has had some G1s and G2s in there. In terms of In terms of class, they do sit lower than a lot of the other horses that I have ranked higher here. So I didn't want to stick this horse out and call it my safe play, but I wanted to note it. I think if you're going to be playing anything, if you're going to be playing horizontals, you got to throw the 7 in there, even though showing up a little bit lower on my sheet here because I treat it mostly as a firster, but 7 wins in 7 races, that's got to be a consideration for Give Me Another. Now we're on to the Florida Oaks. Pace setter here, who knows? I didn't have a strong opinion anyway on this. You got most of the horses here sitting 1 to 2 lengths off the pace. So who's going to stick out? I don't know. One thing I do know is my safe play here is Nitrogen at 5 to 2. 4 races, 4 times in the money, ran third at the BC Juvenile Phillies turf. Yeah, so Nitrogen, I'm going to push you to the top here. You got Jose, you got Mark Cassie. I mean, all this sets up really well, right? I love Jose on turf, so let's do it. The 11 horse Celtic Motif at 12 to 1 has yet to break her maiden, but has come close already. Ran in G3 turf race overseas and was 1 1/4 lengths behind the winner in that one. Shows to be a strong closer. Brendan Walsh, when Franco Dettori. Would not shock me if this horse actually won this race. Celtic Motif, you could be getting some crazy value here at 12 to 1 if that sticks. Okay, so race I talked about already. I think most of you already know my opinions. If not, you can check it out. At the top here, if you look at my rankings, I do have Chancer McPatrick sticking out. But I will say that my safe play here, now that I see the odds, is going to be Patch Adams at 2 to 1. I really like the way this horse broke his maiden. It was a 7 furlong race. The race times were extremely fast. Went to the Southwest Stakes, got caught in traffic, tried to make up for it, didn't hold on. It was the first time going 2 turns. So I'm going to say, let's put a line through that race, and I'm going to get back on the Patch Adams wagon. There's going to be less horses here. Second time going 2 turns. It's a fast horse. Brad Cox should have him ready. But I also really like Owen Almighty. I'll be honest with you. I really like the Sam F. Davis in general. I know it was a fast day that day. John Hancock looked really good. Not a lot of people give the Sam F. Davis a lot of credit in terms of being a race, and I get it. Over the past few years, it hasn't exactly put out Derby winners, but I thought that this race in particular, Owen Almighty and John Hancock looked really good. So I am sticking with Owen Almighty. Here's my value play at 5 to 1. No one can stop me other than Owen Almighty, obviously. And finally, we're on race 12. So getting to race 12 here, the special weights, getting the distance for you. Yeah, we're going 8.5 furlongs on turf. Pace setter here sticks out to me. If you look on the right there, that green pushing the pace looks like Gold Stamp, the 6 horse. My safe play here, I'm going to go with Channel Check at the very top here. Chad Brown Firster. This time the Firster did stick out to me a little bit. Looked like it had good workouts. Flavian Pratt. Mainly because the other horses didn't stick out as much and overtake the Firster in terms of my rankings. But if I do give you a value play here, I'm giving you the 15-1, the 5 horse Native Roads. Of all the horses with the previous start, had the best finish times, closing to within 2 lengths of the winner at 8.5 furlongs in a very similar race. Don't know why this horse is getting 15 to 1 here. I think definitely feels like it should be a little bit better, but maybe that's some value for you. Getting Native Rose in the 12th race. So, yeah, that's what I got here. Hope that was helpful. Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think. And as always, if you're going to be gambling, do so responsibly. Stay within your limits and have a good time out there.